We want to explain more about these different types of soul connections. Sometimes you have to dive deeper into something and understand it from the lens that you're used to vibrating at, so that you can then deconstruct it, go beyond it, change it, and create something else. Does that make sense? You'll understand a little bit more. So, different types of soul resonances, 101. You as a frequency blueprint, you as a frequency signature, you will come in contact with other souls that have very different frequency signatures than you and have very similar frequency signatures to you. So the coding is very, very similar, maybe just a couple of numbers off, so to speak. Make sense? Now, like attracts like. So when your soul code is similar to someone else's, the more similar it is, you're going to find each other lifetime after lifetime. You're more likely to bump into each other. Does it make sense? And then you will have dynamics where your soul code perhaps has incarnated twice in the same reality. And that's what a twin flame is. And that can happen in a few different ways, including the same exact soul code twice, exactly, or think of it like a DNA strand that got cut in half. And one half is in one body and the other half is in the other body. Those are different ways you could experience what you call a twin flame. Does this make sense? Now, more and more people will have twin flames incarnated because more and more people are at the vibrational level to experience that type of mirroring. Because it's a very specific type of mirroring. It's exact. Triggers all your stuff. At the end of the day, all of us is about your soul growth. It's all about you learning about yourself, loving yourself, expanding, becoming the best version of yourself. So you'll have karmics coming in, people who will teach you lessons. And we would like to sort of veer off and more use the term activators. You'll have activators in your life and you will play the role of an activator in other people's lives. Now, when you're an activator, sometimes the activation is not so fun in the human. The thing is, you all signed up to play roles that maybe you wouldn't consciously choose. That's why you forget. You don't want to let someone down or have that tough conversation, right? And so if you think about something like a breakup, who here has broken up with someone and known that it was going to trigger a dark night of the soul for them and be a powerful activation point, but that was going to be very difficult for the person that you broke up with? Anyone? Whether it's a friend breakup, a romantic breakup, right? So that's an example of here I am being an activator. It's not so fun, right? And we would argue that some of the most powerful activators in your life for you are going to be people that your ego doesn't like. And that's not to say that what happens is okay or justified, right? You understand these are separate topics, right? But when we tune in from the lens of this is all about vibrational activation, activating all of your soul code to be expressed so that you can live with all of your gifts fully turned on. You can live your full multidimensionality, which is freedom, which is joy, which is self-healing, which is abundance. You will be delivered all of the activation points, which include activators, for you to learn the lesson, shift your vibration, and continue to expand and rise. Does this make sense? And so your activator could be a karmic soulmate, could be a regular soulmate. It could be your twin flame, right? There's so many subsets of all of those, but we would invite you to simply see these as activation points. There are templates that you drop into. When you come into this timeline, to this reality, into this experience, you incarnate right in this specific one. This specific timeline thread has templates embedded within it that you get plugged into. So one way you might understand this is ancestral trauma. One way you might understand this is beliefs about money that are in the collective. Ideas, money doesn't grow on trees. Ways that society functions. Templates of this is what it means to be a good person and this is what it means to be a bad person. This is what a good mother does. This is what a good father does. These are all just templates. Making sense? You following? You incarnate and you get plugged into the templates. And part of the healing work you are here to do is to recognize those templates and peel those apart about which ones are serving us and which ones aren't. And that's where we come into co-creating new relationship templates. And so we bring this up because many of you learn about what a karmic is, or a twin flame, or a soulmate, and you plug into the template of what that means for you in your life. It's sort of like letting the definition change you instead of you changing the definition. So, for example, you experience a karmic sort of pattern and you are plugged into that karmic soulmate template that runs, and you say, oh, this is the karmic soulmate template. I guess this is what it looks like and how it happens. And you keep going in that template. Now you get to be at a point now where you're co-creating this, and we can here go outside of that and look at what that karmic template actually is, peel it apart, and pick something different so it doesn't feel the way it's felt. Does this make sense? One of the things that we want to remind you of for these explorations is it can be helpful in the exploration here to neutralize any identifiers that you have for anyone in your life. It doesn't matter if someone is a soulmate or a soul connection or your starseed bestie or your twin flame or your karmic or whatever. Soul family, whatever. Let's just neutralize all of it. And this is your video game, your mission, and whoever you require, whatever lessons you require, whatever upgrades you require, will get delivered through someone or something. And so you might notice this someone or something, person one, they tend to pop in every time I need to get out of a relationship. Person two, they tend to pop in every time I'm feeling low in my self-worth. Person three, they tend to pop in anytime I'm super high vibe and meditating and on my game. And of course, we don't want to dehumanize people into person 1, 2, and 3, but you understand what we're saying, just for you to start to detach from some of this emotional entanglement about what it means if somebody is your soulmate or your twin flame or your karmic or whatever it is. Does this make sense? So one of the important lessons Christina has learned about the twin flame template that now might be a good time to talk about is the potential to vibrate out of it and vibrate into it. So whether or not you technically have another part of your oversoul in this reality exactly, if you hit the stage in the game where you require the lessons that dynamic delivers you, or your own personal upgrades, you will vibrate into that relationship template and meet someone who acts as your twin flame. And when you engage in that and learn all of the lessons, your soul code is updating and you can vibrate out of that dimension, past it. Does this make sense? And so part of what we want to offer is that you can do this with anything, really, with karmics as well, with any type of soulmate, with anyone who maybe you want to adjust the relationship with. So when you have a certain pattern or a dynamic in your relationships, think about it. Here is source creation. This is just the place where we're in blank space and we get to create templates. Just whatever, right? And we can go down a couple layers, and let's just say these would all sort of be different layers. Let's just say down here is 3D relationships. Who here knows what a 3D relationship is? Oh, raise your hand. You know, right? Regular people relationships. How's the weather? Hey, he lives next door. I'm gonna bring him some banana bread. Hey, we're having a block party. At the block party. Hey, Joe, how's it going? How's it going at work? You know about it? So you have an activator come in, right? You have a little angel activator. Who knows who that is? That could be us. Could be a book, could be a podcast, could be a health issue. Or you have an activator that is the opportunity of you want to go up a level. Right? So now we're up here into the next aspect of the template. We just want you to acknowledge, who remembers being in the 3D relationship template? The standard, the original, I was plugged in here. Okay. And maybe you remember the point at which it changed, maybe you don't, maybe it was more gradual. But can you relate to I went up to a different level and this doesn't really exist for me? I know it's there. And sometimes maybe I find myself engaging with people who are still plugged in here. And I feel this kind of pull. But there is a very different frequency that I am swimming in, sort of permanently. Can you relate to that? If you're having conversations like this, You're swimming somewhere else. Right? And somewhere up here, we'll say this is maybe soulmate. Now we start finding soulmates. Soul fam. Oh, soul connection. Oh, we vibe. Right? And we're doing more trauma healing and we're doing more healing work, right? And here comes your next little angel activator. And that's your opportunity of, am I going to bump up here to this level? Imagine these are all color coded in colorful markers. That would be a better visual. These are dimensions. These are vibrational templates. So similar to when you talk about the new earth, think about all of the layers of frequency that are currently in your reality that you don't see visibly. Think about all of the radio stations that are playing right now. Literal radio stations. But the only one you hear is the one that you're turned to. The other ones, the sound waves are still in the air, right? But you're not experiencing it in the physical. And so when we're talking about shifting the frequency of the planet, it might look like the same physical, but it's a different frequency bandwidth, which changes what you experience. And so it's not that you wake up one day and suddenly unicorns are flying around and you know, oh, I'm in 5D. It's that you wake up one day, everyone you meet is, well, there's a karmic connection. Well, that was synchronicity. Well, I'm getting a sign everywhere I look. Different frequency bandwidth of the reality. Different reality. That makes sense? So you pop up and now suddenly you're in, karmic land. Suddenly, all these loops, all these lessons I gotta learn. People are coming in. And so you might hit a phase where it seems like everyone you talk to there's some type of karmic thing going on. Karmic doesn't have to be bad. Have you ever met someone and just immediately felt like, I need to help you, or I owe you. I just really want to support you. I don't know why, but I will do anything to help you out. And other people, you couldn't care less. Right? Typically, children will have there's a strong karmic energy with their parents somewhere or another, right? And so karmic sometimes, and what they're notorious for in certain ways, is the harder lessons, or some of you might feel like it's toxic, but there are many karmic relationships that are very healthy and loving and powerful and potent and beautiful. And those people might be with you for a long period, very, very long period of time. They are here to teach you your lessons. Karmics can be some of your best divine life partners. For those of you who desire a consistent growth path. Karmic partner who is toxic, maybe not. But do you understand what we're saying? The energy is needing to be rebalanced. You helped me before, so now I help you. You are being used, or I am being used, to deliver a lesson. To maybe have some triggering conversations, to have some real conversations. And again, you might be vibrating in a template where suddenly it seems like everyone has that kind of karmic loop. Everyone you talk to, that was a major activation point for me. That was a major lesson for me. Has anybody been feeling that more recently? Some of you are, yes, this is making sense. Wow, is everybody a karmic? Yep. When you're hanging out, when you're floating around up here, they sure are. And the thing is that you can go in and out. You can go in and out. Right? Once you've unlocked this level of the video game, you can go up here. Once you've unlocked this, you can go up here. You could go back if you want. And depending on who you're interacting with and the template they're plugged into and what they're vibrating at, you might find that you either calibrate down to them and then start to engage there, or you bring them up a level because you're the activator and you'll start to engage there. You might bring people into karmic land. And this isn't easy for the ego, but for people who desire growth and acceleration and fast change in their lives, you'll be hanging out up here because this is ascension. And so now let's say you have your next activator and you say yes. You bump up here and let's say you're in twin flame land. Some people start their lives here. Some people start their lives here or here. People who start their lives here are people who technically, on a soul level, have their same oversoul incarnated more than once. But this is a template, and if there are lessons here, which we'll talk about, that you're ready for, you'll plug into this and you'll experience all the same dynamics. So you might find that your husband was once your soulmate, became your karmic, and now is your twin flame. In terms of vibrational functionality. And so this is where the conversation gets technically a little more nuanced of, technically, does everybody have a twin flame incarnated? No. But can anyone who goes up the vibrational ladder experience this template and this dynamic and all the same things? Yes. It's sort of like trying to think of a movie, but not exactly landing in. The Santa Claus 2. Have you seen this? A classic. Santa is losing his Santa-ness and has to go away from the North Pole to go find a wife. Because if Santa doesn't get married, he's going to be de-Santified. But who's going to run the North Pole? So, the head elf creates a type of clone of Santa. So the clone Santa, while a little bit more plastic, can get the job done. Not exactly the same, not a true clone, but good enough where it gets the job done. That makes sense? That's sort of what it's like to plug into this. And so the technical differentiation might be, maybe I'm not a twin flame or don't have a twin flame, but I'm having a twin flame experience, which is why the lessons in here are relevant to everyone here.